It's nice to be back. The only reason I'm actually able to come to you today with audio is because of my new iPhone, and this is my studio setup. Turns out Megatron's a pretty good tripod. Tripod. Welcome to the video review of Beast Wars TM2 Scourge. Admittedly, I was incredibly apprehensive about getting this toy. In fact, I basically had to twist my own arm just to get it from my friend, essentially for free. Up until the point of receiving this figure, I heard nothing but bad reviews. However, upon receiving this guy, I have to say it's actually pretty magnificent. So let this be one of the good reviews. I'm actually missing quite a few pieces from this toy. First of all, his left mandible. Second, one of his legs. And third, and fourth, both of the missiles that get stored in his wings in this mode. Which brings up his gimmick. Supposedly, when you push this plunger in, the wings are supposed to spring forward. And press this button, which activates the launching mechanism for one of the missiles. That's right, only one of them fires. Now, generally, I hated the Transmetal 2 line. They really didn't execute the asymmetrical aspect of the figures very well, especially for the characters who already had prior forms in the show. And the Transmetal 2 line was so far removed from their original designs. And don't get me started on that stupid Dragon Megatron. Yeah, I hate it. However, there are a number of Transmetal 2 figures, I think, that actually managed to pull off the look, not just quite well, but amazingly well. This would be one of them. It's like Hopper from A Bug's Life came back in time as a cyborg to kill Flick's mother. It'd be an awesome movie. A Bug's Life 2, Requiem. Now there are some real problems with this figure, especially in this mode. One, it does have a little trouble staying together. The four legs in front, or three, are all connected by the left arm, which attaches to the torso of the robot mode under here. Two, this whole wing launching mechanism is one big piece that has to rest on the spring-loaded robot head, and if the head doesn't cooperate, these don't stay down very well. Also, the beast head makes up the left shoulder of the robot mode, and is very loose and not very posable in the attached joint. If you position the rear legs high enough, you can get him where he's looking forward, which I'm not really sure is that big of a deal, since most of the pictures of grasshoppers and locusts that I've seen are kind of looking down anyway. Which might make this guy come in first for beast mode accuracy out of the Beast Wars. It even has those two little dots right there that grasshoppers and locusts have. I don't know what they are, but this thing has them. Also, it has a stinger. Something about his eyes makes me think he has a vision problem, and the placement of his spark crystal reinforces that. Now, I've heard a lot of complaints about this thing's colors. A lot of people think they're pretentious or gaudy. I think that gaudiness is what makes this figure work so well. The metallic orange with the lime green and the clear lime green and the purple, it just all really works for me. I think on any other subject it would be too much, but for this guy it just works. Everything about him is just over the top. Even his size. Look at him next to previous deluxes. Even from the same series, he's huge. And he's got so many joints in this mode. For a deluxe, I'm absolutely blown away by this figure. It's a character that we didn't get to see in the show, and I kind of wish we had. Instead of wasting time trying to make Cheetor cool or bring Black Arachne around to the good guys, I think this guy should have been on the show. Seriously, there wasn't a Transmetal 2 on the show that wasn't a character that was already on the show. Now, my particular figure has seen a lot of wear and tear, and if you know anything about the Transmetals and the Transmetal 2s, it's that the chrome colors have a tendency of flaking off, but with this character, I think it just works. He looks so rough and rugged and just indestructible. I'm really glad they attempted a different creature than something they'd already done, like an ant. Don't get me wrong, I love the original Beast and the Transmetal ants, but I'm really glad that they decided to take a different route with this guy, instead of just having Transmetal 2 Inferno. Kibble in this mode isn't bad, other than a little bit of the left robot hand here, and maybe the right one up here in his butt. There's not a lot else to say about this mode. It's not terribly posable, but it does look damn good on a shelf. All in all, for this mode, it's a total win. So, is this the District 9 alien leader? Admittedly, I understand why people complain about the way this thing looks. But for me, this is where the Transmetal 2 line got a couple of things right. And that is having a robot mode that isn't completely humanoid. Only a couple Transmetal 2s strive for this, and I do stress only a couple. But the few that did really are benchmarks in my Transformers collection. This guy is seriously rocking some non-humanoid design. Look at these legs. People complain about them, but why? They're huge and obviously powerful and way better than Beast Machine's Cheetor. Admittedly, my love for the dog leg look originates from Digimon, but this guy's doing something we don't see very often, and I don't understand why that's a bad thing. Another major complaint people had were these little tube-like pistons right here. They prevented the leg from being able to stretch out very far. In fact, that was about how far they could go out, and that's about how far they could go in. I ended up taking that and cutting off the little stopper end inside of the leg so that he had a little bit wider range of movement. it still looks like the piston is controlling the strength of the leg, and he's not as restricted. This thing has a problem with wilting. These legs are so long and spindly, they can barely hold up his weight. I had to tighten the screws and add glue to a lot of the joints. Another complaint people have about this toy is all these beast mode legs hanging off of one arm, which I don't know why it's such a big deal in this toy when Tarantulas had 4 hanging off of each one of his arms. And this guy actually makes it look like it could be some sort of giant mangly claw. Everything about him individually just says that it shouldn't work, but altogether, he just makes it happen. I don't think it would work on anyone else though, because of his freakish appearance and almost mad scientist mystique. I feel like he intentionally wanted 4 insect legs on one arm so that he could manipulate multiple experiments or controls all at once, all while stroking his ego with the other hand. You're supposedly able to take the missiles that store in his wings and put them in his hand, either to make a sword or a double-bladed sword, which makes me wish I had them. I wish the spark crystal was on this side and not this one, just so that it was more visible when he's standing facing you. He does not retain his wing attack in this mode, being that the mechanism is upside down and just really doesn't work. This mode still rocks the colors of the previous mode, but they're a little bit more hidden. He's sporting a lot more of the opaque red and a lot of black in this that he didn't have in the previous mode. And a lot of the transmetal chrome is barely visible, but it's still there, and it's still good. Another thing this guy rocks, his size. On top of the fact that he's taller than almost every other deluxe out there, look how much mass he has besides his height. I mean, he's even on par with Revenge of the Fallen Lockdown, and he still has all this crap hanging off of him. Crap that looks good. Being that he's a Beast Wars character, he retains none of the traits from his previous incarnation. But I'm kind of okay with that. Except for that goatee. I miss the goatee. This figure has a lot of articulation most of the Beast Warriors didn't have. Like waist movement, thorax movement, and above all else, he can pull a move that even Darth Vader can't do. He can look down. Even though that's only there for his transformation, I still have to give him credit for it. At first he looks all mutaty and horrible movie monster of questionable intelligence. But then you get to his face and the real pants shitting begins. His beady little red eyes scheming amongst his black visage beneath these gigantic green compound optics. Not only is he ugly and scary and probably unstoppable, but he's smarter than you too. He's like Frankenstein's monster and Dr. Frankenstein all wrapped up in one. And for those of you who are wondering, yes, he's an outie. While Tarantulas did some effed up stuff, something tells me this guy could top it. This is definitely not the bad guy who's unwilling to get his hands dirty. In fact, he probably needs to before he can get any real work done. He really does an amazing job of looking like a triple threat. Super strong, super intelligent, and super deplorable. He's clearly a twisted individual who's aware of his psychoticness and has no intent on changing. Society shuns him because he's different, but he knows he's an artist, like Picasso, but with living things. So, in conclusion, this figure's actually really awesome, and despite what I thought of him before I had him, I'm really glad that I ended up getting a hold of him, even incomplete and worn out as he is. And I'm completely indebted to my friend that basically gave me this thing. This has been the video review for TM2 Scourge, and thank you for watching. Remember that monster or evil thing that resided under your bed or in your closet?
Yeah.
But couldn't attack you directly because of some obscure, scary monster? This guy killed them and ate them, and now he's coming for you. Is that funny?
No.
Okay. He's
That's wrong!
I'm gonna put in what you did, though. I'm putting it in.
Kill you.
Alien versus Grasshopper.
Gay.
I've actually got a really funny selection of pictures to go along with that, so it's not all about that.
Ha! Gay.
Oh my
You're
god.
gonna do dishes tonight if you don't shut the f*** up! I want to.
I'm so glad I'm recording all of this. Shoo.
I love you, YouTube.
No. Shut up! Holy shit. I must have wrote this when I was like on crack or something. Red eyes scheming amongst the black visages. Oh, I can't say visage. How do you say visage? Visage. Visage. Thank you. I actually am videotaping this. So this
Take this to your room.
This might be the conclusion.